Hello everybody and welcome back my fellow makers and foam fanatics. A new video game is coming out called Cyberpunk 2077. I saw it, I was inspired, so I made some new armor. I made my own version of a Cyberpunk shoulder and bicep cover. So if you guys are ready, the pattern is linked in the video below. Go ahead and click on it, download it, and let's build it together. In this build, we have a lot of round circle pieces we'll need, so I'm going to be using the circle cutter. I like to have a foam mat on the background when I'm cutting. It makes it a lot easier when you're cutting out circles. You can see I kind of started already. I've got my small blade, and I dial it back. Pop it out. Voila. I used to go fast, and I think that going slower actually makes a difference. After a while, the blade does start to go a little bit. So I discovered something. We have the blade. It's out. I take my trusty blade sharpener. Now these blades aren't strong. These aren't like your box cutter blades. They'll take a lot of abuse. I very lightly take my crochet sharpener very lightly and just pull toward me on one side. Other side. Back it up, and I think we can probably get maybe 2 more cuts out of this. There you go. Look at that. Nice and clean. Here are our shoulder pieces we cut out, and again, this is 6mm foam from TNT Cosplay Supply. Nice dense foam. Now, on the corners of the patterns where it's round, what I like to do is I take the knife, I cut off a little bit of the foam, excess. Now, with foam this thick, it's kind of hard to get a nice curve cut, so I just take a rotary tool and a sanding drum, and I just round off the edges. Now, I remove the majority of the foam with this sanding drum. It always leaves grooves, so I go back in with a stone bit and just clean up the chew marks. Now, again, like always, I like the heat curlies before I assemble them, so let's do that first, because all the other pieces this is the centerpiece. So we're gonna make this first, and I'll show you where everything else falls on top of it. And the heat board, parts, and I have a big acrylic dome set over here. We'll curl it. My contact adhesive. Again, just brush a little bit on the edge. See how dry it looks. Give a couple more minutes. Speed up with a hair dryer. Now, starting from the top, line that edge up. All right, I'm going to start from above, line it up. All right, there's our shoulder piece. This is all put together. Now we're going to work on the detail pieces that go on top of this. We have the lower part details right here. These again are just 4mm. The top detail is 4mm as well. And again, you can see I have to round off these edges. The other side detail is the 2mm parts to cut out. We're going to prep these. I got to round this edge really quickly. Get rid of those grooves from the sanding drum and using a stone bit. When making something high-tech or cyber, I try to add as many like details and little nuances to it. And you can stack foam, but it's always cool to have like a line. And I'm going to take that line straight in the circle because we know for a fact we're going to come back later and glue these guys on top. Got my wood burner with my tip on here. Got my middle straight edge, like so. The trick with wood burning, pick a speed. Put my line, and here we go. That's pretty deep. It looks nice. We can take 2 of the foam circles we have already, and we can just go and just glue those on right now. Little dabs, kind of like adhesive. Spread it out. These guys look good side by side. This is our top detail piece. We're going to go ahead and drop this on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down and get a ballpoint pen. Here's the pattern. The reason I have this, I want to fold it in half because I want to get that center line. Ballpoint pen, make my mark. So now I hold this and take my ballpoint pen. I just trace where the opening is. Now I look at this part. There's a little bit of fuzzies, and I have my sanding drum, the narrow one. I'm going to get in and just clean this up just a little bit. Now I cut everything out pretty square. If you guys like, you can leave them square. I sometimes soften the edges a little bit. I made this marking so we can come back in with a wood burner and add additional detail. Get a ruler here. I see we have our lines there. And now, let's use the same metal ruler since we did that. Let's take a wood burner and groove some lines into it. But now, see, now we have these lines. Then when you glue this on, see, it kind of cleans up and gets a little bit of a groove. There's a little bit of tech going on back there. This is the centerpiece. We're going to start with this one first, and so measure out from that part. So we're going to put this. All right. Dead center. Got that? And then everything else you just kind of slowly roll into place. Okay, there it is. That's the top piece. Again, it's the side detail. This is all cut out of foam, 4mm foam. And again, I went in with the brass tubes, cut my holes, and this is going to get glued on here as well. Apply some kind of adhesive on the back. The registration mark you have here is the placement for this detail piece. This is the side one. So you start from the top of that, make sure you're dead center, bring it down. Again, watching that line when you line things up. Got it? And then now you just roll the detail onto it. Nice contact. Now our next detail are these guys. And what I do is I place them roughly about here. More focused on this edge here. So you want to kind of this whole round thing going here. Now that we have our placements, contact adhesive. Again, make the marks, line it up, stick it on that right there. This is where the 2mm detail pieces we've cut out. This guy, as you can see, this kind of spacing, it kind of speaks for itself. It just drops in here. Make our line. Now that we have these, notice there's some slots here. Place this on here like so. So I got these guys detailed lined up. I'm gonna go ahead and take the wood burner. Okay, now let's apply. There it is. It's coming together. Looks great. One little extra layer of detail. We took some small brass tubing and I cut out some very small 2mm rivets I want to put on the corners. And that I will use some super glue. And you can trace it, but I just eyeball it. There is the Cyberpunk shoulder. It's all together. Got your detail. Now, what's a shoulder without a bicep? So we're gonna move on to that next. Again, we have 6mm foam right here, and this is the template. As you guys can see, I went ahead and cut out the little slots so you could trace out where the additional detail is gonna go. This is one thing that's really cool. This is flat, but very easy to do. So cut that. Get my sanding drum. I'm gonna round these corners really quick. Fantastic. Now I go back in with the stone bit. Now you can see right here, I made my marks for my center line, which is always good. I'm gonna take my straight edge and a ballpoint pen and draw a line down the center just to kind of help me keep things lined up. The signature thing in this is that this gets curled. So people have different ways of doing it. People like to glue all the parts on it and do it at the same time. I like to glue the pieces on after it's already been curled. Now that we have this piece, we have these other parts we cut out. These again are 3 of these all done out of 4mm foam. So let's start with gluing these parts on. Kind of adhesive. Again, just roll it down. See, by doing this really helps the curl stay curled. Now we have our circles. Let's go ahead and apply those. Now again, what I'm doing is they're still relatively wet. I'm just going to push them down, line them up, and when they dry, I'll push them in place. Get a little air on them. All right, now you can see a little bit of a gap here. You just go ahead and push it down. Boom, we got it stuck on there. Nice. See, our next wave of detail are the little 2mm plates that go on here. You guys can see right here. For you guys, you probably cut out 6. I just cut out 3 for now. While that is drying, we're going to need additional detail, some small rivets. Now how I go, we just drop these dead center. You can kind of see, it's pretty easy to see where they fall. We have some bigger circles I cut out with 2mm, and you can see them. They're right here. We'll take some super glue. Place it like this. It's the top 2mm detail right there. We got this additional detail right here. Looks great. We got one more part. It's the 2mm foam piece on top. I went ahead and applied my contact adhesive. Got a little air. You can see I went ahead, made my marks to help me line things up. Well, there it is, everybody. There's the cyber bicep side armor detail. And then the shoulder piece, of course, goes here, and you guys can overlap them like that on your costume. I can't wait to see what people do with these. It was a lot of fun making this. Everybody stay tuned because I'm having the female cyber helmet coming up soon. There it is, the shoulder and bicep. And the principle is as you build it, it kind of overlaps like that with Velcro or snaps. Or you guys want to hook them up. Again, everything I used in this build is listed below the video. Click on those links. If you click on those links and do your shopping through Amazon, it helps me keep making videos. While you're at it, go to my website, eviltedsmith.com. Get in my mailing list. Go through my pattern stores. Do some shopping. This video you've been watching was done from my live stream. I do every other Monday, Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/eviltedsmith. This is exciting. I got more Cyberpunk stuff coming. Stay tuned. Catch you back next time right here on Evil Ted Live.